Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to a roundup of some of the news stories from the world of Formula 1 over the last few days. Kicking us off then, and it has been reported that McLaren are considering Kimi Raikkonen as a possible replacement for Fernando Alonso should the Spaniard decide to leave the team at the end of this season. Speculation over the double world champion's future has been rife in recent weeks, with a number of drivers linked to the seat, including Daniel Ricciardo. However, according to the Press Association, Finn is now in the frame for a possible return to the Woking outfit, a team he left at the end of 2006 to join Ferrari. Daniel Ricciardo, of course, has already been heavily linked with a move to Ferrari, and reports in Italy claimed last week that Ferrari were ready to give Charles Leclerc a chance at the Scuderia in 2019, with the 2007 world champion making way for the Ferrari Academy driver. McLaren have, as is to be expected, made no comment on the matter. However, speaking to Sky Sports F1, former Director of Communications at McLaren Matt Bishop said, "It's the time of year when everyone is going to be linked to everyone, especially with Kimi. Talk of him not going to be at Ferrari. He's a guy with a lot of experience and McLaren have always wanted some experience in the team. So if they lose Fernando, they are going to want someone with experience. I'm sure there's going to be a few more people linked with it before the end of the year." Kimi Raikkonen had a very solid start to the 2018 season, however has struggled to recapture that form in recent races, and despite claims earlier in the season that Ferrari may well stick with the Finn for 2019, an exit is beginning to look increasingly likely. Brawn has confirmed that the changes to the 2019 aerodynamic regulations have now been agreed by all teams and are expected to be signed off during the strategy group meeting on July 4th. Although the initial concept was approved earlier this year, a closer look revealed several loopholes that had to be closed before the new regulations could be implemented. However, following much discussion between the sport's governing bodies and teams, the changes are set to get the go-ahead. And talking to motorsport.com about the changes and what they could mean for 2021, Brawn said, "The teams wanted to know what's going on, and I think everyone has been cooperating. It needed some refinement, which has been done. I think everyone realises that we don't want uncertainty. As far as I know, it's all been sorted and we should be in good shape. I think it will be a useful insight into ensuring that we are going in the right direction. I think it will contribute in itself, but also will give us better feedback on the concepts that we're pursuing in order to make the changes more benign. The FIA eventually write the regulations and have to police them, so therefore that's their role and responsibility. We are there to contribute towards concepts that lead to that." Following concerns over the lack of overtaking in the sport, the FIA and F1 have looked at ways to improve the show and to help create more overtaking opportunities. Changes put forward for 2019 initially included simplified front wings and brake ducts, as well as wider and deeper rear wings. Daniel Ricciardo has said that he wants any new 2019 contract to match the value he has gained during his time in Formula 1. The Aussie is another driver whose future is still very much up in the air, and many believe that he holds the key to the driver market. And as mentioned towards the start of this roundup, Ricciardo has been linked with seats at both Ferrari and McLaren, but also Mercedes and Renault. But the Red Bull driver has said that wherever he is next season, he expects his achievements to receive recognition and that his priority will be to contest world titles. He stated, "I said it from the start. The priority is to try and get a car that can win a world title because I really believe I can. So that's the first thing in my mind. If there was absolutely no possibility, then you look into other things. But I think as a driver, I think I've done enough now. Even Lewis touched on it, and I didn't even really need to say it. Your values as a driver is not X amount of money, it's just what you feel your value is and what you bring to the sport. I feel I hold a certain value, so I just want to at least match that with my expectations and what also people value me as." Ricciardo was also asked if he was concerned about the possibility of taking a step back with regard to any potential move in 2019. The Aussie continued, "If I don't win a title and whether I'm coming third or fifth, it's probably no different to having a step back. The only way my career takes a step back is if I stop performing. Obviously, if I just came off 3 world titles and gone to a team that's only coming fifth, that's probably a step back. But because I've been floating around that top 3, top 5 mark for the last few years, there's probably not really a step to take back unless I stop performing. So I don't really fear that. For me, there's only something to gain. I've just got to figure out what place that is to make that gain." Following Red Bull's confirmed switch to Honda for 2019 and the sport being in the middle of 3 back-to-back races, expect speculation and rumour over the Aussie's future to ramp up even further over the next few weeks. Guenther Steiner has said that he is not in favour of Formula 1 adopting a race weekend format similar to that of Formula 2. Since taking over at the helm of the sport, Liberty Media have been looking at ways to improve F1's appeal, and changes to the race weekend format appear to be on the cards. One possibility that was floated was the idea of adopting and adapting the current Formula 2 format. F2 holds 2 separate races every race weekend, including a feature race on Saturdays and a sprint race on a Sunday. One idea put forward by Liberty was the possibility of having an F1 qualifying race on a Saturday, with the full-length Grand Prix being held, as usual, on a Sunday. But Haas boss Guenther Steiner fears that an extra race could take away from the traditional Sunday race. He stated, "I don't favour to race on Saturdays. First of all, it eats into our race on Sunday. If we have 2 races, it has a diminishing effect on the Sunday race because you've already had one on the Saturday. That's why qualifying is an event in itself. It's a very exciting, emotional event and a very good one. It's also not only that you could have damage, you need to have double the amount of spare parts around, and you need to have them as you're doing 2 races. The chance of having damage is much higher. You need to make sure you've got enough spares for 2 races. Different parties have different opinions and objectives. The promoters like to have us at the racetrack on a Friday running around because the people show up and want to watch us. If we just do a Saturday and a Sunday event, somebody will not be happy, maybe the promoters, which I understand. Otherwise, it's very difficult to tweak the weekend. To cut a day out is the only saving you could make. It was mentioned to have a sprint race on Saturday, but I think that's an idea that's already in the past. Qualifying is still a very integral and interesting part of Formula 1 on a Saturday afternoon. So let's use this story as inspiration for this week's question then. And what changes would you make to a Formula 1 race weekend in a bid to improve the show? Or do you think things are absolutely fine as they are? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And finally, Force India will celebrate their 200th Grand Prix this weekend, and the team are hoping to mark the occasion with a special result. The team had a difficult weekend in France following Esteban Ocon's crash and Sergio Perez's engine problems, and they have suffered an inconsistent start to 2018 and are already 34 points adrift of 4th in the Constructors' Championship, a position they have held for the last 2 seasons. But team principal Vijay Mallya hopes the team will get a much-needed lift in Austria. He said, "After a challenging weekend in France, we hope that Austria will bring better fortunes. It's our 200th race weekend and it would be nice to celebrate the milestone with a special result. It's been a long journey since 2008, and I'm very proud of the results we have achieved, especially in 2016 and 2017. It's an incredibly busy time of the season with 4 races in 5 weeks, and the fight in the middle of the grid remains very close. We will keep working hard to be at the front of the midfield as the season progresses." And Sergio Perez also spoke about the occasion and admits that he did not expect things to go as well as they have when he originally signed for the team. The Mexican added, "200 races is a very special moment for the team, and it's been a big part of my life for 5 years now. I have a lot of memories here, including 5 podiums. When I look back to when I joined at the end of 2013, I never thought we would have had this kind of success together. We have grown a lot together, and I have enjoyed the best years of the team." Force India joined Formula 1 back in 2008 after a consortium led by Vijay Mallya purchased the struggling Spiker team, and since then, they have gone to secure 6 podiums, rack up 1,015 points, and of course grab that 1 pole position at the 2009 Belgium Grand Prix, courtesy of Giancarlo Fisichella. That is it then for this week's news roundup. I will be back on Saturday with the qualifying report, and don't forget we will be live twice this Sunday, with the pre-race show 1 hour before the Grand Prix starts, and the race debrief around about an hour after the Grand Prix finishes. In the meantime though, you can follow me on social media. Links to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook and to Discord are all in the description down below. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean, this has been the F1 Word, and until next time, goodbye.